Hi, I'm Kerry with Best of Us Investors. I want to go someplace that few men have traveled in today's video, and that is into space. We've been seeing a lot about travel into space with Jeff's Blue Origin and Elon's SpaceX in the last couple months. But you need to know, if you don't already, that these are new players in this game. This game has been going on basically with NASA for years, and the big player in this game is Boeing. Boeing has been the mainstay place for NASA for years, and then NASA cut back, and for a period of time, the only way we got into space was to hitch a ride with the Russians. But now it's coming back. But I think there's an interesting story here of how a major player in the aircraft and space business is being pushed aside. And I think it's something that you and I need to talk about because there's some opportunities and maybe some pitfalls here for investors that I think we need to take a look at. So that's what this video is about today. It's kind of off my beaten path, but I did some research on it because at first I was put off by, and I'm still put off about William Shatner's travel into space. That was probably at least $1 million Disney ride that I don't see created any real purpose, but maybe it was to help NASA determine who's they're going to work with in the future and who they're not. So I want to talk a little bit about the space industry and in specific Boeing and how you might want to invest in Boeing in the future. Okay, let me first say this is not financial advice. This is purely education.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
I came across this in the Wall Street Journal, and I wanted to learn more about it. And it goes into a little bit of history and recent history on Boeing's efforts and in the space industry, and then also what their future is in the airline industry and how their fortunes have turned a little sour.
That orbital insertion burn was scheduled to take place 31 minutes after launch, but didn't happen on schedule.
This happened in August, and Boeing had to take this capsule and send it back to the factory because it just didn't work. And they had planned to use this capsule to send people into the space, but that has since been canceled. For years, it was Boeing who was providing the vehicles to put us on the moon. But then in 2014, Boeing and SpaceX were awarded a contract. In 2019, Boeing launched a rocket to go into the space station, and it failed. It did not make orbit. And you need to understand what Boeing makes is the capsule that goes on the top of the rocket and all the software to make the rocket do what it needs to do, and it failed. So they had to bring it back, take it back to the factory, and this just is a continuing problem with Boeing and the rocket industry.
And liftoff, the rise of Starliner and a new era in human spaceflight.
In 2019, Boeing and NASA attempted to send an uncrewed Starliner to the ISS with much fanfare.
Now passing 1 minute into flight.
But that test flight failed due to 2 programming errors. The spacecraft's internal timer was off by 11 hours, stranding it in the wrong orbit and preventing it from reaching the International Space Station. Boeing's CST-100 Starliner capsule did, however, return to Earth safely.
So we did have, obviously, some challenges today. When the spacecraft separated from the launch vehicle, we did not get the orbital insertion burn that we were hoping for.
If that wasn't enough, you had the 2 fatal crashes of the 737 MAX in Indonesia and Ethiopia. And Boeing's situation got terrible. We then entered into the subprime crisis, and Boeing dropped dramatically, but then has recovered 135% since then. Okay, so Boeing has recovered roughly 50% of its drop from its all-time highs. But where are they? Where do they fit into this? We've seen that Blue Origins and SpaceX are being very successful with their launches, while Boeing is having difficulties. We see that their airline business is being threatened as a result of the 737 MAX. So where are they in that? Well, let's look at the numbers and see exactly what the outlook is for Boeing. Since making record revenue in 2018, Boeing has lost half of that revenue in the following years as their commercial airline sales have dropped dramatically. Boeing's space program is a key part of their defense, space, and security industry, and while their Starliner program cost NASA $3.2, SpaceX program only cost $2.6 billion. What's more, unlike Boeing, SpaceX has been successful in putting crews into space. So Boeing's on thin ice, and I think it's a stock that needs to be considered very sharply if you're holding it, and it might be a short opportunity if you're not.